Celebrate. Celebrate life. Make your entire life a celebration. The life, the mind gives that signal every moment in our life. Am I calm and in peace just now? Yes, I'm calm and peace. So, continuity of that calm and the peace and the joy that you experience here and now is a meditative state. Continuity. So, what obstruct? But before that, am I in calm and peace? Yes. Am I aware of it? Yes. The next moment, some thought enters into my mind and it disturbs. Calm and peace disappear. No, it hides behind my thought, which has an image, which has a feeling, which has a desire. And this mind leads us to ignorance. And this mind is dictating our life so heavily. I was talking to a girl yesterday. Are you calm and peace? And she started laughing and said, no, I'm in stress. Are you in stress and laughing? Problem is solved. So whenever there is a stress, you start laughing. Look at deeper how deep the mind rules our life. Mind dictates our life, but the mind is an instrument. It has become master. And that is why we are not able to celebrate our entire life. We cannot make our life a celebration until the mind is the master. Topic is simple. We celebrate different events like birthday, marriage, and lot of other festivals. We get immense pleasure. We start getting pleasure before the event, during the event, and sometime the pleasure remains 1 or 2 days after the event. Then what happens? That joy, that pleasure has gone. And the mind says, okay, next year we'll celebrate in a grand way. What is this? I'm not saying they don't celebrate. Make it very clear. So those who think that I'm saying then don't celebrate, it means you're just opposing the very learning and the knowledge. What I'm saying that we have been celebrating weeks after weeks, years after years, months after months, and expecting a different result. What is that different result? So that I should be in peace and happiness all the time. Not possible. It has never been possible. Without understanding that mind. So I told this girl that, you are in stress and laughing. So whenever you have an anxiety, laugh. I'm not able to, my mind does not believe what is good in me. My mind instantly doubts what is good in me. And the mind instantly believes what is negative. No, how can I be in peace and happiness. I have lot. Hold on. Become aware. See where you are, and you will discover that life is giving a signal. Come on, outside problem we can solve. But am I in peace and happiness? Mind does not want to accept our inner peace and calmness because the mind says, I have to work hard to get peace and calmness, but peace and calmness cannot be gained by the hard work. That is very clear. Understand that. So the next question comes, what is preventing that inner calm and the peace? And we have understood, I'm in peace and calm. Yes, I experience. So if there is a continuity of that calm and peace, what will happen? Continuity means the continuity in thought, speech, and action at workplace, at home, in relationship. That continuity is broken by what our mind believes will give me peace and happiness. And where the mind believes, the peace and happiness is not there. That is the entire journey of meditation. That's the entire journey of awakening. Nothing less than that, nothing more than that. Huh? Are you understand? Now see the other thing. I am in calm and peace. Am I aware that this calm and peace is independent of anything outside? But the mind is always craving and desiring for a thing, an object, a person, for calm and peace, for happiness. See the contradiction? And the moment we listen to the mind becomes crazy and obsessed and lazy, and we fall into ignorance, and ignorance causes the suffering. Returning again, understand that I'm in calm and peace. The continuity of that calm and the peace, it continues, but it is veiled by the mind. I become my mind. Mind starts ruling me. Mind starts running outside, and I fall into the stress. Once there is a clarity of, once there is a mind is clear, the intellect contemplates and reflects, and there is a conviction in the intellect, then what will happen? The intellect will not allow the mind to dictate our life. Question is why this happens. Calm and peace, the mind has a thought. Thought pertains to the image, an event, or a feeling that we have experienced in the past. The mind goes into the past, projects into the future. The mind starts working, thinking, living, running after the objects of the world. What is this habit? Repeated thoughts that prevents my mind to leave that calm and peace and happiness and the joy that is inside me, which is independent of anything and outside. So mind says no, happiness is outside, calmness is outside, in a person, in an object, in a person, in a relationship. But there it is not. So what is ignorance? I see a thing, or I see the happiness outside in a thing where it is not, but my mind sees it. So, what is the main factor? Because I don't live consciously. I'm aware of the calm and the peace is coming from outside. It is here and now. And I say, who cares this? And the mind starts running outside. I lose awareness. This is the greatest sin my master used to say, that when we live and work habitually, unconsciously, getting carried by the thoughts that projects the pleasure outside is the greatest sin that we commit to ourselves. Forget about other sins. The religions explain the sin in a different way. This is the greatest sin. So the first thing, making my entire life a celebration, making my entire life a celebration. First thing we noted, the mind obstructs and blocks that peace and calmness in me. Second thing, that any experience is conscious, whether you experience pain, whether you experience pleasure, whether you experience calmness, whether you experience uh, stress and suffering. Experience of inner calm and the peace also demands a conscious experience. The moment you fall into unconscious, habitual, that calmness hides behind the mind and the mind starts running, and then we drop, making the entire life a celebration. The meditation demands a conscious living. That is the solution. Meditation does not mean closing my eyes, focus on the breath, chanting some mantra. Many people ask me which mantra is powerful. I answer them simple. The most powerful mantra is Google. Go to the Google, where all the mantras are there. The Google has to be the most powerful. Every mantra becomes powerful when you live consciously and work on the mantra consciously. The meditation demands a conscious living. Now, what it takes to live consciously so that we can make our entire life a celebration. Our master says, say goodbye to the mind. That brings past memory habit. That is one way of saying it. But you may ask me, what is the practice? The practice of all the practices in meditation is moving the mind inside, consciously. You move the mind outside, you find millions and trillions of objects, people, things, event, exposure. When you move inside, what do you find? There is only one, only you. So you should learn from the teacher what it means by moving the mind inside and living inside. What will happen? You'll communicate with the peace there and then. When your mind moves inside, lives inside, does not mean that you lose hold of the things outside. There is a knowledge inside your mind that comes outside, you become a driver of a car. So there is always a movement from inside to outside. Can I recognize that? Can I live with that? And you will see you start celebrating your life. I'm putting up a lot of stuff from the people ask me the questions and you ask me. So I put those questions in the form of videos. See from the other perspective. Do you know where is your house? You will say yes. Where is your workplace? Yes, I know. Where is your spouse? Yes, I know. Where is your son? Yes, I know. Very good. You always reach your home. You don't make a mistake. You see that? Ask your mind first to reach real home that is within you. Then start thinking, desiring, and working in your life. And that home is conscious living. When I experience anything, it is conscious living. I don't allow any thought to pass into my mind without becoming aware of it. And you will see that self pulsates from inside. It wants to express itself in peace, in happiness, in love, and in wisdom. Making the entire life a celebration. So the Master says the mind is the cause of the suffering, and mind is the cause of the solution. How come? Take the same example. You are drunk. I mean to say, that is one physical and outer social way of saying it. But I'm drunk means I'm intoxicated by the overwhelming thoughts of likes and dislikes, of pain and pleasure, of desire and projection. That is also means that we are drunk. When you are drunk and somebody is asking you, where is your home? You give him the wrong address. You reach to a wrong home when you are drunk. Same thing in your mind. You reach to a wrong home when you are projecting, desiring. Mind is running outside. What is this problem of the mind? You can say this problem of the mind is ignorance. Have you noticed sometime then we we see a person and we know the name, but we spell the wrong name to that. We address by the wrong name. And that comes because mind is obsessed. Why the mind is obsessed? Because the mind is constantly projecting the happiness outside. That is the second problem of the mind. And you can say that is projection, distraction, forgetfulness. Third, what prevents me to make the entire life a celebration? What is the third problem is of ignorance. What is ignorance? Ignorance is incomplete knowledge. What is incomplete knowledge? Who am I? I don't have a clarity. And our masters teaches that we are of the nature of permanent peace and happiness, love and wisdom. Can I start recalling whenever I move into anxiety and duality that my nature is peace and happiness? Can I refuse to be miserable? Can I start living consciously to check whether the impurities has taken over the mind, the projection, and the ignorance? The next moment, you will find the peace and happiness is with you. Problem is of wisdom and perception. A physicist sees the world as purely made up of matter, electrons, protons, electromagnetic field, the space, and so on. Same. Another person, the doctor, who perceives the body not as a matter, in fact, it is a matter, as the living cell. Living cell, what it contains, it's a matter. Protein, carbs, minerals, fat, amino acids. We say protoplasm is a complex substance made up of the elements. Ultimately, element is also matter. See, there are two perceptions. You go to your honey, hi honey, how are you? Your perception changes. You go to your parents, hey son, how are you? And you see that person as your dad. Your perception changes. So my perception changes according to the habits acquired from the society. I become the son, I become the patient, I become the material person. Question is, who really I am? Because they are all perceptions, different perceptions. So they are different perception based on the specialized knowledge. And it is the same way we perceive the world, and that causes the suffering. We have to introduce the wisdom there. Who am I? It is an identity crisis that causes the suffering and prevents to celebrate. The entire life is a celebration. Our master says that we are Satchidananda, absolute consciousness, absolute existence consciousness, to say it simply, of the nature of pure consciousness, of the nature of permanent peace and happiness, love and wisdom. That is our essential nature, like the sweetness of a sugar. You can find that sweetness in different form: candies, ice cream, dessert, cookies. So that sweetness is our essential nature, and we are found in different categories as a husband, wife, son, daughter, employee, employer, patient, health. We recognize the essential. Candy means sweetness. Ice cream means sweetness. Sweetness never changes. Our essential nature never changes. So when we live, after recognizing, living into that essential nature, the life becomes a celebration. That is the goal of every meditation.